So today we're going to talk about the Enlightenment, especially about the important figures, how it affects us today, what was going on during the Enlightenment, how it started, and how it ended. So what is the Enlightenment exactly? It was the age of thinking, during 1685 to 1815. The Enlightenment started in the 17th century by attempting to apply this method of thinking to humankind.
How does the Enlightenment affect us today?
The Enlightenment affected many things. Being a philosophical era, lots of things were affected. For an example, the end of slavery, women's suffrage, the progressive era. It helped people fight for the ideas of freedom, equality, justice, and the rights of being an individual. The Enlightenment also affected the world in political ways. It made people more self-conscious about the decisions that could be made.
And now, how did the Enlightenment start?
Around 1670 was when the traces of the Enlightenment were found in the early French philosophers. They commented on the first scientific study that was trying to prove that the church is not all and there is so much more to life than what is representatives tend to make the others believe. Refers to modernizations and the science progress bolstered the appearance of criticism. Although the church fought this attitude with all its powers, but the curiosity of man was stronger than any threats that were given from the church. 1750, an open conflict arose between scientists and philosophers against the clerical institutions, and the way these held mankind in ignorance for centuries in order to increase their power and build a world as they wanted it. The French Revolution of July 1789 was a fatal blow to the church, and that was when the Enlightenment was considered to be the spiritual enrichment of mankind by means of its own inner values and resources, compared to the people who remained in the dark due to lack of knowledge.
What was going on during the Enlightenment?
European politics, philosophy, science, and communications were critically adjusted during the Age of Reason, or simply the Enlightenment. Enlightenment philosophers in France, Britain, and throughout Europe questioned traditional authority and brought together the assumption that humanity could be enhanced through rational change. The Enlightenment produced various books, inventions, scientific discoveries, essays, laws, wars, and revolutions. In fact, the French and American revolutions were directly influenced by Enlightenment concepts and marked the pinnacle of its impact and the birth of its decline. Enlightenment eventually gave path to 19th century Romanticism.
Who are the important figures of the Enlightenment?
Important figures of the Enlightenment are people such as John Locke. He was an English medical doctor and philosopher, and what he did was that he defended the right of the people for revolution, and his essays modeled the separation between church and state. Thomas Hobbes was also an English philosopher. He believed in absolute monarchy and was also interested in why people think it's okay to be ruled by someone and what the best government system would be. In 1651, he wrote his most famous work called The Leviathan. He claimed that deep down inside, human beings are selfish creatures. Francis Bacon is known as the father of empiricism for his work in science method, which is called the Baconian method. Jean-Jacques Rousseau had a big contribution to the shift towards Romanticism. Voltaire was a French writer and the primary satirist of the Enlightenment. He created plays and essays that advocated freedom from the plan of religion.
To conclude, how did the Enlightenment end? Some philosophers believe the Enlightenment has ended, yet others believe it ended around the 18th century, when the French Revolution ended. One reason the Enlightenment era ended was because of Romanticism. Romanticism appealed to the young generation and the less educated, so it grew popular quickly. Another big reason the Enlightenment ended was because of the French Revolution. Enlightenment sparked the French Revolution, so the people blamed the Enlightenment. They said that the Enlightenment supported chaos and violence and disobedience. The big heaps of just dead bodies were enough to convince the world that the Enlightenment was wrong. Though in the West, the Enlightenment ideas continued for a while longer.
Thank you, and that was the Enlightenment.